Zono To know that there are things you will never know until you win some enemies. Let me say again. There are things you will never know until some enemies come under you. That means if you know it is a sign you've won some battles. Even knowing what I said now, you can't make this utterance until you win some battles. Let me say it again. There are things you will not know until you win certain battles. Can you help me get this off just for a temporary time? Now I said there are things you don't know. You will not know it until certain enemies die in your life. Now, knowing it means you are already victorious. Now, some people don't think that way. Now, some of the things I want to be sharing with us are things I know after I have won some battles. I don't just know them. I live them. Some of them I didn't know it under 50. Let me say again. Some of the things I want to be sharing, I didn't know them before I was 50. As a eunuch. You know, when you say, don't be tired of hearing it. When I say eunuch, I'm talking about pay attention, 100%, to God and to myself. So when I said eunuch, don't get angry with it. It means everything to me. Because I destroyed my future as a man. I didn't only destroy my lineage. I destroyed the lineage of my father, my biological father. I denied him future, grandchildren. He gets offended by it. So it's not just a decision you took for yourself. I just denied my mother grandchildren. He gets offended. My mother will be happy when he sees this face on a boy. In case you don't know. On another person. But she will never have it. Now, those things I know because I denied myself that and that. I don't joke with that. That is what I will principally teach this night. Now, it took me many years because of where I came from and because of what people were saying to me. Because of what older preachers were saying to me and what the environment were saying to me. All of us that are here, environment speaks to us. Because of what the environment was speaking to me, I didn't know that knowledge is a spirit. And maybe somebody in this hall doesn't know. I didn't know that knowledge is not just a spirit, a living spirit. That is, knowledge is a person. That understanding is a person. So that there is a particular spirit that go up and down on earth called understanding. That particular spirit lives with us. There is a spirit called wisdom. It's a spirit. Now, why I'm talking about that is because I don't want to trifle with that spirit. Listen, if that spirit is not with you, everybody will know that it is not with you. And if the spirit is with you, people will know that that spirit is with you. How can you hide it when wisdom is not with you? Now, some pastors who are preachers, out of the numerous spirit, the only one that they know is power. But power is one of the spirits. So the idea of, oh God, use me, is that it's just power. Their only idea of use is that they laid a hand on the sick and the sick receive healing. That's the only idea of use. They prayed for cripple and cripple walk. That is the only idea of use. Even if they are stupid, as long as they are making people cripple walk, no, it doesn't count. So this night, I made promise to God that I was going to enlighten someone's eyes. I am going to function in the seven. In knowledge, in understanding, in counsel, in power, in fear of God, in what is called might. Might is a spirit. Might is different from energy, from power. It's different from strength, it's might. That particular might is also a spirit. Now, last night when I was here, I had it. I had might. Now, sometimes if you are not observant, you will not know the difference between strength and might. So I would like you to pray in a minute and say, Lord, hear me. Revelational knowledge is organic. Just like you have money and you're happy, you can buy a car. There are certain spirits that when they are part of your company, there are things you don't lack. And if they are not with you, people will know. Because you will lack what they provide. Where I came from, nobody talks about it. And each time I see young men, I will know they lack it. Now, when somebody lack what knowledge gives, it will be obvious. If somebody lack what understanding gives, because it doesn't have understanding, it will still show. If somebody lack wisdom, wisdom cannot give you what wisdom should give. If you don't have a car, do you ride a car? If you don't have a house, do you go to your house? So if you don't have wisdom, how do you use it? So I would like us to, in just 30 seconds, say, oh God, bless my understanding. Just 30 seconds. Smotoprin koskeli dabrodo sotolia. Le brondo satines. Thank you, Lord, because you have answered that prayer. In Jesus' mighty name. You may be seated. I want to be sharing first on vision, incarnation, and immortality. Vision, incarnation, and immortality. Or vision, incarnation, divinity, stroke, immortality. Now, some people who are in this hall, this is your third time of hearing this. I shared part of this message. I shared part of this message on Sunday night inside this hall. Because it was burning me. When a message burns me, I don't joke with it. And then yesterday afternoon again, it was burning me, and I came into this hall and shared part of it. But some people here are hearing it for the first time because you were not around when I shared it, either in those sections. And those who are watching online, I would like you to please listen. What I'm about to share is a concept of favor. I said it's a concept of favor. So if you're hearing it, you are favored. Vision. Understanding vision is a concept of favor. It is something that people will never understand except they are favored by God. Now, vision is something that God gives to men. That means you don't create it. Let me say again. I said you don't create vision. Vision is something God gives to men. That means it is a gift of God. Now, I want to make another point. You don't see vision. You know vision. So vision is not a concept that you see. It's something that you know. Now, most of the people who say they saw it, they don't know the difference between vision, which is foresight with insight, based on insight, and the dream of the night. You don't make contact with vision when you are sleeping. That means vision does not belong to sleeping. It belongs to awareness. It is not something that happened in the night. It is a concept that controls the day. Vision is also not a concept of seeing, it's a concept of knowing. Vision is having accurate understanding of what future holds for you. Somebody is saying, Shepherd, and why are you sharing it? If vision is not clear, then there is no life. Because vision is a concept of God that establishes his divinity and immortality. All the men in the Bible you like and know, you like and you know, were preserved in the pages of the Bible by vision. If vision is not clear, God will not preserve a man. And that's the reason I'm sharing it. Let me say again. If vision is not clear, God will not preserve a man or a woman. If vision is not clear, God will not preserve a church. If vision is not clear, God will not preserve a life. God will not worry about preserving a people if vision is not clear. It is something very deplorable that some people will pass through the earth, and they are forgotten. Some of these people who are forgotten, we are very busy here. There are pastors that have preached for 20 years, 15 years, and nobody knows them. And they are busy preaching sermon. Nobody knows them because God cannot be introduced without vision. Let me say it again. I say nobody knows them because God can't be introduced without vision. So it is only the spirit of religion that can make people gather somewhere when vision is not clear. There is something I want to show you. 29:18 of the book of Proverbs. Now listen, if I want to look up. This word vision is a very popular word that so many people don't understand. It is something a lot of people preach without understanding it. Because it is a no, not a see. Now, a lot of people who want to introduce it as a see. That's why they don't know it. They also introduce it as a concept of the night. In 29:18 of Proverbs, where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law is happy. Happy is he. Now, the word perish came there because vision is the only tool of preservation. Please, I would like you to listen. I would like you to listen to me. A believer that does not understand vision will never be bold. A believer that does not understand vision will never be free from confusion. And the confusion is very, very evil. You see, because it introduces wandering and depicts the divine value of men. Let me say it again. I say confusion is very, very evil because it introduces wandering and depletes the divine value of human beings. That is what confusion does. Confusion makes caricature of sweat. Confusion subjects men, people who look like God. Confusion calls them dust. Confusion cannot be separated from death and mockery. Somebody who is confused is lost and dead and doomed, ready to perish. I would like you to listen. Because 1,000 years is like a day, and a day is like 1,000 years. When the person is perishing, he will not know. There are pastors that couldn't get up to 50 years. Up to 50 years, and they are sick. And they are deeply molested by the devil. Because God does not provide security outside vision. yes and no, which is a concept of preservation, will not be possible if vision is not clear. And I brought the word incarnation because while vision focuses on accomplishment, incarnation is a higher dimension of vision that focuses on change. I said why incarnation is stronger than vision is why vision is captured with accomplishment. Incarnation is captured with the transformation of the visionary predominantly. Now, when somebody is a visionary man, or if you like, a dreamer, another difference between that dreamer and an incarnate man is that there are some things that vision tolerates that incarnation will not. For instance, vision allows you some part of yourself. But when you are an incarnate, a spirit owns you 100%. I can have wife and children and accomplish vision. But I cannot have wife and children if I am incarnate. Because an incarnate spirit will not share me with a woman. I've made it clear. Have I made it clear? Huh? Have I made it clear? So, if the Bible says in Colossians chapter 1, verse 15, that is an express image of the invisible God, is a statement of incarnation, not vision. Let us make man in our own image is a concept of vision, of incarnation, not vision. The problem of Adam started terribly when Adam came in the image of God and he wanted to share that image with a woman. If I read 25:45-7, I will tell you why I am sharing it. Of Genesis. You might be hearing this and you don't know that what I'm sharing is living word. Is living. If the word of God or this revelation will not change you immediately, I will not worry about it. But don't forget that you don't hide your contact and spirits you are with. If you are not with knowledge, when those that are with knowledge see you, they will know you are not with it. Vision does not wait for you to introduce it. Vision lives itself from you. If you look up here, I'm going to give you a gift. When you see a woman, a man that is captured with vision or is incarnate. Let me start this way. Incarnation vision can tolerate certain measure of distraction. It can tolerate it. You're a visionary man now, but you follow that lady to your village to go and do a bank wine. And then you were spending money. You gave invitation. You gave invitation, your wedding invitation to church members. And people were buying you cake for wedding. Some people even follow you to Ngobala, where you married your wife from. There are some things you don't do with your time if you are an incarnate spirit. No, you don't do it with your life. There are places you don't go. Now, that because incarnation restricts you more than vision. There are things you don't own. If you own God, that is an incarnate, that God took a likeness of a spirit and is living in you as an incarnate man, you cannot take God and take another thing. So it's not even about vow. Let me say it again. You cannot take the fullness of God and take another thing on this earth. Somebody's getting it now. But you can take things as a visionary man. After Joseph was married, Joshua then got married. Peter then they were all visionary. Everyone was following Moses up and down with his wife. But I would like you to understand. That that journey into the promised land cannot be led by vision. God will not ask a visionary man to take Israel out of land of bondage. It will not happen. It is not possible for God to give a testamental assignment to vision. That is an assignment that requires a new road. Even John the Baptist, to introduce the messianism of Jesus, he has to leg into incarnation. I say he has to leg into incarnation. What I'm about to say will help a young man. Whether it is from Jesus in the left to be introduced by John the Baptist, that relationship with an incarnate spirit that was in Jesus took Peter so much. Took John his life to introduce it. And then when the baton of incarnation fell upon Peter, it took Peter so much. There are certain assignments you will have in the kingdom of God. You cannot marry properly. Because a spirit is sharing you with your wife. So there is a part of you, a part in you that spirit will not allow your wife to fellowship with. There is a high level of responsibility you will also have as a woman. God will not even allow you to submit properly to a man. That doesn't mean you're controlling the man. The Bible didn't tell us the story of the husband of the Shunammite. But that woman was not a widow. But the Shunammite, is he a widow? I'm asking you. the woman of Shunem, is she a widow? Huh? But that woman brought Elisha into her house. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't get it. I said that woman brought Elisha into her house. Because the dreaming spirit of that family was with the woman, not with the man. The mother of Samson was visited by an angel, not the father. I don't know whether I'm saying something. In 45 verse 7 of the book of Genesis, and God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. That is dream. That is vision. Now, let me say something. Let me now tell you what I wanted to say. Whether you are visionary or you are connected to vision, if you are not visionary, you can still be connected to vision. These two makes you immortal. You might not be visionary, that is, you might not be heading a vision, but connected to a vision. The girl, Hagar, was not the wife of Abraham. Excuse me. But like I told them yesterday, I told pastors and intercessors while we are at the altar, when Hagar found herself in the house of Sarah and Abraham, she became part of that house. And that is why Sarah encouraged Abraham to make her part of the family. There are people that are blessed by God, that wherever they find themselves, they have that spirit of encouragement to be part of that place. But there are people that have two faces, that they will be in a place because the concept of their life is evil. What they want to do is to get something from that place and be walking and walk away. There are young men that serve men and they are like that. So, and there are young men that when they are serving you, they serve you like their father. They see your wife as their mother and as their senior sister. They try to do everything they must do to be part of that family, so he doesn't try to separate himself from it. But there are not many. When he wants to wash your car, he washes your car like his own and try to do that business you brought him to do with his life. There are not always many. If she is in your house as a house help, she treats your children like her own. She gives you her best and want to be part of your family. Now, if you're a woman and you have met them, you don't replace them. You don't replace them with a charlatan. A charlatan is somebody you that is in your house there, and she says, how much are they even paying her? Now, the concept of living in your house because your paying her is just money, so she doesn't feel anything. So Haggai wasn't like that. And Sarah knew it. Sarah wanted to live with Haggai. So she encouraged Abraham to produce a child from a girl that is already part of their family. I don't know what somebody is hearing what I'm saying. Huh? Because that woman saw that Haggai was all ready to go. She had already become part of them. And then the woman thought of making up. If Haggai was behaving like a charlatan, Sarah would not do it. Let me also tell you, if Haggai was also behaving like a charlatan, she might not even accept an old Abraham. But when somebody come into a place and they destroyed her bridge, every option that will favor that house, she contribute to it, even when it is against her. Like I said before, there are not many. The reason that the church is in the southeast are not getting big like the other one in the southwest is because we have so much of charlatans, so much of people who are inside a place and they will not be part of the place. Now that is valuelessness. Somebody is a pastor in a particular church and he is treating that church. He is treating that church as if though the church does not concern him. So even the principal belief of that church does not still concern him, but he's a pastor there. Maybe you're not hearing what I'm saying. This program is going on, he doesn't care about it. Now, he is not that he's not caring about the program in his branch. He is not hurting me, he's hurting himself. Because the way he's reacting to the program is revealing his valuelessness. I need to tell them, I say, if you're a local assembly pastor and you don't want to pastor well because you are not general overseer, I will like you to go out and become general overseer of a church and then do it very well. If you don't hurt me, I can still preach for you. You can call your church Zoe altar too. Did you hear what I said? I said you can call it Zoe altar too, because this army has symbol of lion. You can call it a lion army. I said you can call your church a lion army, and excuse me, I will still come there to preach in your lion army, but do it with your life. Don't hang around. Do it very well. Let everybody see you and know you're committed. If pastoring in local army is why you are not committed, start a lion army or a which other name of this family, of a caterpillar army. And still say we are immortal. Not stopping you. I'm not going to dwell all my night on that because it is not with me as a man this night to determine how you relate, because with people around you or your environment, because it is a spirit in a man. Wandering is still a spirit. Let me say it again. I say wandering is still a spirit. And the preaching does not change wanderers. Now, whether you are the head of that vision, or you are the center of incarnation, or you are connected to, it is the choice of God that borders on the nature of people. But like I said, there are certain assignments that God cannot commit into the hand of dreamers, as important as vision is. Like I said before, the assignment of bringing Israel out, the assignment of also introducing the age of the church, which Jesus did, the assignment of showing the lion to the earth is not a visionary assignment. It is a concept of incarnation. And all who are principal people of that assignment, principal people of what? Will lose something for it. You can, sometimes I've been wondering how some people reason. You are a woman and you are persuading your husband to marry you properly after your husband is part of me. Something is wrong with that thought. Or you are a woman and you are attached so strong to this altar, and you still want to marry your husband properly, and forgetting that the guardian angel of the altar is an angel that have taken a man whole. How can you take your husband whole when your husband is attached to a man who God took whole? You're saying to your husband, don't forget, you are not shepherd. Why not? And that's why he's marrying you in the first place. If he's shepherd, you won't be in his house. But there is a part of that man that connected to shepherd you can't take. There is a part of that woman that connected to shepherd you cannot marry. You can't marry that part of that lady, that girl. Because that part of her is already dedicated to that spirit. So Haggai couldn't have gone out of the house of Abraham and have another husband. If the Shunammite liberal girl didn't bring Elisha to her house from understanding, I won't talk about her in this altar. She would have died with time. Time will kill her. There are a large number of people that time and season destroy them. Time and season erased their memory from the earth. Some of us that are hearing me, don't forget that you have a grandfather. It was time and season that deleted his name. And I'm going to show you how time and season did it. It's not a mystery. Time and season confused him. I give you this gift. I give you this gift. And I am not going to give it until somebody put a seed on this altar. There's a gift I want to give you. Now this is it. How important something you have is determines who you share it with. including life. Let me repeat it. How important what you have is to God and you determines who you share that thing with. So you can know the value of your life from who you are sharing your life with. And who you're sharing your life with and how you are sharing it. Last week, no, 2 weeks ago, the Lord came to me in my office in a very long night vision and told me something. I don't know whether I should share it with you. He told me, he said, Chris, I said, yes, Lord. He said, I want you to understand something. I said, tell me about it. He said, you know how expensive your life has become? I said, yes. He said, don't share it with some people. Don't give some people a chance to sit down in your office. Then he said, there is something I have already given you that you share with people carelessly, and as if though that if you don't share it with them, they can get it from another place. Maybe somebody didn't hear what I said. He says some of these values, the human being cannot get it from another place if they don't get it from you. So he said, I want you to know it that way. And then try to economize it. And you know, there are things I can't fellowship with. I've been struggling with it because of the way I am already. But it's in my mind. In case you don't know, I have spent about 18 years on the word value. I have spent conscious 18 years on studying that word value, and I'm making 3 books on it that are interrelated. So it doesn't take me time to understand somebody's value. Because I have been studying it. The more I study it and write on it, the more it opens my eyes. And the Lord has been telling me to study it because it is a concept that protects God. I say value is a concept that makes God, when you hear omini, you cannot introduce omini without separation. Omini, when you say omini potent, omini science, omini presence, you're talking about a value that God will not share with another person. Let me say it again. I say you're talking about value that God will not share. So it makes him incumbent, highly withdrawn, and elevated. So the Bible, when you hear meaning, that's why in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6, 15 and 16, he said the only potentate, that is omini. That is, that royalty cannot be duplicated. And it can't be shared. And then he came back and said, he's the only immortal. That means he doesn't want to share that nature that makes him, that gave him ability to conquer death with men. So he kept it as only him. He withdraws to have it only him. That he is liberal does not make him share it. So there are opportunities we don't share because God didn't share his immortality, and he didn't share his royalty because it is not shareable. means there are things you don't share with people even if you love them. Because the concept of ordination and ordinance does not connect them to it. If there is no vision, you cannot avoid destruction, even no matter how you pray. Now, I told them, I'm making a book on the days man's gap. The concept of a days man is somebody who is using prayer to establish on earth what has been established in heaven already. That is a days man. You are using prayer to establish on earth what is already established in heaven, not trying to establish on earth something that is not anywhere. So a days man or an intercessor does not pray her will. She recognizes vision and uses prayer to enforce it. So when somebody said to me, Shepherd, I want to pray for you, give us prayer point. My idea of you asking me to give you prayer point is that you don't know this church. Because if you know this church, you cannot ask for prayer point. The prayer point is the vision. I said the prayer point is a vision. And the vision is already established in the realm of the spirit. What we are using prayer to do is to enforce it on earth. So if you know that vision, what prayer point are you looking for? You get to an altar that is already round, and we say in Galilee that we are going to make it 5, and you hang around this altar and you're looking for prayer point. The prayer point is the altar. The altar that you already know its purpose. You know the purpose is already established in the realm, and you are a days man of the altar. So you're supposed to use prayer to enforce the altar on earth. Listen, it is an evil for people to look for destiny. Destiny is not meant to be looked for. It is meant to be discovered and forged. So and it is frustrating for someone to say he doesn't like your destiny. Your destiny should not be chosen because it has been chosen. Don't establish a relationship with a man or with a church because you like it. Establish a relationship with a man or a church or a ministry or a job because it is your destiny. And if it's your destiny, you will find your path. I mean P-A-R-T. I say if it's your destiny, you will find your path. Finding your path will not be difficult for you. Because destiny provides your P-A-R-T in that place. The part of that vision that is yours. There is something I would like you to listen to. I'm about to leave it. I'm about to leave this teaching. That Aaron made a golden calf does not mean he doesn't know anything. Let me say again. I said that Aaron molded a golden calf. Doesn't mean he doesn't know. No. What it means that Aaron doesn't have knowledge that should lead that journey. That doesn't mean he's blank. For Aaron to be part of Moses means he was attached to that vision and he has a role in it. Don't forget that priesthood eventually fell on the Aaronic. That means there was something in Aaron. But that thing that was in Aaron can't lead. Somebody say, hey, I have ability. I say, who is anybody doubting it? Is anybody doubting it? The part you have is you have that part because you have ability. Aaron has ability. Joshua has. Midian has. They have ability. And that is why they were leaders. Peter has ability. James. John. That's why they went to the mountain. And it was the ability that God gave part, that Jesus gave part, P-A-R-T. And it is that ability that they followed P-A-T-H to come to take a place in P-A-R-T. It is P-A-R-T that creates P-A-T-H. Excuse me. If there is no P-A-R-T, there will be no P-A-T-H. You see, because you have to be part to follow a path. Even in the first connect, if you don't have a path where you were far, you cannot connect from a path. Because you connect from a path. It's not everybody that can cope with come here every night. Today is already Friday. Some people wearies them. But on Monday night, I know that Friday will come. And it is not too much. So we have 2 days. And someone is still saying, 1 week. I know that 1 week is a day. Have I been able to say it? If there is no vision and no incarnation, there will be no divinity. Divinity is not a concept of fasting and prayer. It's a concept of being. It's not something you acquire. It's something that you came with. We are partakers of that nature. You cannot partake if you don't have. That is why we have a lot of hanging around. Don't forget that I am a wounded preacher. I keep on getting wounded and keep on getting healed. Now, why I talk about wound is because when you are a pastor, you are a shepherd, you are conscious of convert, and because you want people, you cannot stop completely from sharing with strangers. Because as a shepherd, what is in your mind that anybody who has come around you is there to stay? I don't know whether you're hearing what I'm saying. Now because of your desire to feed, sometimes you share some things with strangers, and the sharing what you're sharing does not make them part. The person does not have part, P-A-R-T. So because she's not part of a mandate, she has 1 million options that reveals her valuelessness. Valuelessness, not really, I don't know how to say it. It might not really be valuelessness, but she's not part of a concept. I said she's not part of a concept, of a dream, of that particular dream. She might have a part somewhere else. And then you're trying to force him into a concept he does not belong to, or is not worthy of. Your effort cannot make it happen. Because situations, the summer and winter, they are personal. And people react differently to them. That's one more thing. If you look at Numbers chapter 12, God was able to separate vision from incarnation, and that's where I'm stopping. If you look at what happened to John the Baptist, John will say, "Are you the one we're expecting? Or shall we look for another one?" And that is the same John. That is the same John that said, him that asked me to baptize told me that the person I saw the dove upon. That is what is called a temporary confusion that's associated with vision. Something that is like, are you really sure of what you're doing? It doesn't happen to incarnation. I told them in the afternoon when we were here, around for when we were trying to conclude. I said, I would like you to listen. I would like you to listen. It has never come to my mind. It has never come to my mind to live my life in two ways. And it will never happen. I have never sat down in my office there when I'm alone, and I am trying to imagine when I will change to become a husband of a woman and still be on earth. Why will I be on earth after marriage? Why will I stop serving an altar that is this way, that is not attached to the wall? Why will I separate from this altar and still be here? I can't be here. I cannot be on earth. I cannot be on earth as husband of a woman. Because I cannot have that option. That option is not available for me. I cannot be on earth as somebody who owns a house somewhere. It will never happen. Now, because you see, if I embrace that option, my destiny and my person is altered. Then, if I must have a wife, then I will take another image. Maybe somebody didn't hear what I said. Huh? I said I will take. No, I will take another. I have to go back. I have to go back to where I came from and take another image. That means I have to pass through the womb again. Now, so because when I was young, I hear people that have limited knowledge trying to say he can still preach after he's married. I said, you don't know what is called incarnation. You don't know when the Bible says he did law brand scalos, that this is a lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world. That means that this life has been lived. And it cannot be lived in another way. If I must live it in another way, can't I end it now? And then keep the story of this form. I say keep the story of this form, because there is a form of story I've already told. I will be satisfied to remain on, to thank God and go to eternity and allow that story to remain for younger generation, for people that should connect to a Melchizedek order of a man that doesn't have wife, for that concept of integrity of that order. to remain on earth brazen. Because you see, we are not just men, we are spirits, and there is continuity into time. So this altar and this type of life I'm living has an opportunity to beget another type. So somebody didn't hear what I said. I said the life I have opportunity to do what? To beget a type based on this type. So why will I alter this type? Now if I alter this type, how do I replicate it into time? And excuse me, the battle this type wins. How can I win it after I have kept a woman in my house? We are talking about confusion of vision. Confusion. Women, please don't get angry with me. You don't know what it means. I was telling them in the afternoon here. You don't know what it means for you to be living in a house with a woman. And you are bracing. You don't know women. Some of us who are married, I thank God for you. But if I am a shepherd, may you keep one son. May you keep one son that will not share his life with a woman. Then you will understand what I'm talking. As long as you have wife and children, you will never understand. Because you're already wounded. The meeting is blessed. There are pastors, because we are in a fallen age that is corrupt. So what we call prosperity in ministry is big church. Because they don't want to even care about Bible. Because they are already corrupt. Their soul is corrupt with lasciviousness. That is the material things of the earth. So they cannot see into the candle of the word of God. So what is interested in them is to amass grass, because they are grassy. And they say, that thing we are talking about, what about that, the other big church? What about the other big man of God? Which big man of God are you talking about? How many converts does Elijah have? When they came to apprehend Jesus there, he told them, I said, these people that are with me are my inner cockles. Please allow them to go to their homes. Take one person. Take one person. Take one. Take me. The person you're looking for is me. Can you allow these other ones to go? They say yes. Because that road is meant for one person. And the person following the road prepared for the road. Somebody says, Shepherd, you're always strong. I said, no. There is a road. As long as I'm in that road, that will be this way. Weakness is not an option because it's not in that road. And that road is made graciously. So Aaron and Miriam, they still have opportunity to gossip because they were not incarnate. That small opportunity, I want to connect you to something before I end. I want to show you about, there is something I didn't tell you when I asked you to give gift. I have not told you in that. Let me say it again before I stop. I would like you to hear me. If you are not connected to immortality, you will not be immortal. And the connection is not physical. I don't connect you by talking to you. There is a spirit that connects you. And I'm not the giver of that spirit. If I am the giver of that spirit, some people will not be doing some things in Lagos because I would have given it to them long time. But when I saw them take decision or behave something, I will know that that spirit is not in them. If it's in me now, I will know those that doesn't have it. Because I will know the character and the utterance of that spirit. I will know the desire of that spirit. Ordinary desire. There are some things you will desire. I will know that that spirit is not in you. There are some things you will complain about, and you know that you don't have that spirit. Every day we grow. If you're captured with something, can't you see me? There are things I don't complain about. I don't know. And there are some things I attack with everything that is in me. I will hate it very well. Even if I close my mouth, my spirit will hate it with bitterness. There are some things I don't talk about, but the hatred in me is venomous. I might be laughing with it. Because I don't want to disturb myself. Now, if you look at 12:1 and then 6 of Numbers, I want to show you something. Then I will stop. Aaron and Miriam spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman who he has married. For he has married
an Ethiopian woman.
That Miriam and Aaron speaking against Moses is a revelation of their mental limitation. Don't forget that they were visionary because they are part of the team. They have a part, but they were limited. That was why it was necessary for Moses to turn his life into the ark and then hand it over to Joshua for the journey to continue. Because if Moses didn't turn himself into ark for that journey to continue, Joshua can't lead. If the pillar of fire by the night was not in that journey, and pillar of cloud in the day was not in that journey, when Moses was no longer around, that journey couldn't have continued, because that journey is not Joshua's journey. So Joshua need components from Moses that will represent Moses in the midst of the journey, even when Moses is no longer around, for the journey to continue. Because Joshua, the journey was journey of Moses, and Moses doesn't need a wife to be able to produce those components. There are components you cannot produce after you are distracted. This is it not testamental? That's what I'm sharing. I said there are components you can produce after you have distracted yourself. I want to ask a man, are there no Sundays your wife call you up to 5 times in a day? One man. You just call you now, you finish talking with her, and after like 5 minutes, She will not call you again. Let me tell you a secret. A woman can call you without dying your number. If somebody give you so much of herself, you will lose part of yourself to her. If you don't know how to protect yourself. So when somebody say, "Hey Shepherd, I give my life to you," I say, "I'm not taking." Keep your life big. Give it to Jesus, not me. Give it to Lion of Immortality, not RevChrisChristian. I prefer you give it to Lion of Immortality. Give it to the other. Don't give to RevChrisChristian. I want to keep my life. Put your hand together for Jesus. Did somebody learn something? Huh? Huh? Did somebody learn something? Let me tell you, I'm not through with that 6 of Numbers 12:6. I want to bring out something there before I was about to switch, but I discovered it's still important. Hear, and he said, "Hear now my word, if there be a prophet among you, I the Lord will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream." Number 7. My servant Moses is not so.
Who is faithful in all my house.
Who is faithful in all my house. Now, go back to 6. Let me help somebody with something I said on Sunday. When I preach on freedom from ancient rules. If the only opportunity you have in your life is that God talks to you as a spiritual man in the dream or in vision of the night, then there's a problem. Then such a man should not be a leader. Such a man should not lead. If anytime you want God to talk to you, you go to the mountain to hear God, you must not lead people. You must not lead important people, because you yourself is subject to temporary confusion. You are a prophet, visionary man, but you can't lead. There are, a lot of preachers are there in the net. There are so many things people are saying everywhere, both big and small. Some of those utterances are things that sustain death. Some of those structures are the structures that sustain death in the church. But because they don't have idea to know that this thing is the imbalance that sustains the concept of death. Now, sometimes when you say something, because they are not in the height of that revelation, they stay in their little low place and be criticizing it. I yet Mirina Maha in the realm. Let me say this to you quickly. If anybody doesn't understand the incarnation, doesn't understand incarnation, and he's not a eunuch, he's under pain. Doesn't matter how big his church is. I say he's what? Under pain. There is no man on earth that's not under pain. Private jail does not separate you from pain, because pain is spiritual. The word pain is born from spiritual anguish. That means you are separated from certain knowledge you need. All who believe in death are made subject to pain, because there must be pain before death. Believing that wait. A man that believes that he will die, can he be free from pain? The angel of death functions through pain, and that is the spirit of ignorance and mental and the spiritual and mental limitation. So when what people are supposed to know is hidden from them, they are made subject to pain already. Is Nigeria not deliberating whether they should go and fight in Niger? Is it not madness? The land of Niger is evolving. Nigeria should support Niger to evolve, not to destroy Niger. The people that are soldiers that are in Niger, are they not Nigerians? The land should be helped through a gradual process to evolve. You don't force development. It takes time. War is not the answer to any problem. Nigeria, when here the Igbos went and they brought Biafran war. And what happened? And we went back to Nigeria. So if we go back to Nigeria, why do we fight? In the first place, is it not madness? Do you know why they are making noise about Biafra? If you go to the Red Cabinet of Abuja, the Igbos are there as senators. They are there as lawmakers. Why is their voice quenched? Because they are betrayers. And how can people who are betrayers that hate their land say that their problem is Nigeria? If you want to connect to Nigerian value, they should produce value from their land. Did you hear what I said? I said if you want to connect, if the Igbos want to connect to the value of Nigeria, they should produce value from themselves. And then when they produce value, they should connect. Now you didn't produce value. The other day, that pastor was in Abuja, they was saying that they cannot produce a big congregation. How can they have enormous hatred for themselves and for the land and say that their problem is an outsider? Do you know the venom, the venom of selfishness? Do you know how large it is? The individualism, the wickedness in the tiger or wickedness that function in that land. When we were going yesterday, I told them, I said, don't forget, I don't need, listen, I know I'm going to still read the scripture. Some of us, whenever this truth said, you start feeling somehow. Your feeling does not mean, that feeling is still the devil. The feeling, that thing people are trying to protect is still the devil. Because somebody who is protecting error is a devil. Something is ravishing a land, and anytime it is said, you get upset. Because you want to protect something that is destroying a land and your life. Then you're not from God. And then how can the land move forward? When we protect what is killing it. If we want the land to move forward, we should expose what is killing it out and let it out to die so that we can be free. Freedom cannot be given from outside. Did you write what I said down? I said freedom cannot be given from outside. Freedom can't be given from outside. Somebody who tied himself to bondage cannot blame another person. Am I not shepherd? Now, do you know the level of despise I get from Igbos in my heart? I was telling you on Sunday when I was telling the boy in my house. I said, excuse me, the first principle of growing locust army is not evangelism. The Igbos should see me as a blessing of God to them and then have desire to come and hear me. They are not coming to hear me and you want to evangelize them. The Bible says in chapter 3 of the book of Matthew that the whole land of Judea and Jerusalem went out into the wilderness to hear John. They were not evangelized. They went out to hear John. I went to Galilee and I spent 10 days and people were hearing my voice every night in microphone there, hearing my voice every day in microphone there, and they ignored me. You want to ignore a brazen personality like me, somebody who is already like me? How can a land ignore me? With my company? You want to say that I'm not like this? How? It is not possible for nature to play with me. I will raise nature. I said I will do what? I will bring so much of war against weak nature. Nature is very weak to look at me and say I resist you. Where did I have strength? I will stay consistent and patient and hide in the cocoon of immortality until nature is scattered. You don't know nature. Nature means fickle, confused, without God, darkness, naked, vulnerable, laughing in the midnight. I said, laughing when? That's nature. And then you want to confront something that's not confused. I will wait in the whole of eternity until the fickle fails. I told them there in the house when we are going. I said, I told you, I said, I prefer understanding to prophecy. Because I prefer the spirit of understanding, because the spirit of understanding is from God. I said the spirit of understanding is from God, but prophecy is gift and calling. It can be mundane. And sometimes you can't even separate what they call prophecy from sorcery. But understanding is a spirit that make one of the spirits that make up who God is. So I prefer it. So I told him, I said, from understanding, I know from understanding of an Igbo man. I said, what is sustaining iPod is that it's something Igbo boys are sharing. I said, there is something they are sharing. An Igbo man does not go somewhere and sit down and be part of that place until a way he naked. There are people that are not in locust army because the money that we're supposed to use to build this building that represent a corporate face of an army that give us respect as a people, or the money that we use to raise camp, or that have brought this ministry to something that give us corporate respect, they want me to put it in their individual pockets because they hate the army and their land. So their concept of life is something that should get individually. So if what I'm saying is nothing, why are they not supporting the local army? Are there no Yorubas that gather together and beg to redeem? They have that elephantic nature. Gather, sow seed and pay tithe. Does an Igbo man pay tithe? And he says he's a Biafran man. Shame. Shame that this generation of Igbos don't pay tithe. And they say that somebody else made them a slave. May God deliver their stupidity. And somebody said, Shepherd, why are you talking about that? Why are you talking about that? Preach the word. I said, preach the word. Talking against the evil of the Igbos is part of my word. It's there in my book. You say I should be preaching without saying it. How can the evil end if I don't talk against it? I'm already attacking the devil. Direct. It's a vampire. And the vampire must die. If I am standing in God's presence, it will die. In case you don't know, I'm not connected to death. So anything that is fake will die before me. So if there is nothing that they are manipulating up and down, some pastors, like I said, we are trying to get this place ready for synod. Everybody is happy. You come into this place, you meet somebody at the reception there, you register your name, you go to your room, and then there's water there, and then there is light there, and then there's a reading table for you, and then you lock your door, and then you walk into the hall without entering into taxi. Without entering taxi. And then there is food there in the kitchen there. You go to the kitchen and you take your meal inside that same building. Instead of looking for somewhere to buy food. And then somebody said, hey, we should pocket the money to a Biafra. Because they hate something that they can own together. But that's what I came for. To make them own something together. To bring honor to their land. And I will use everything in me to do it. As I said, when I was going yesterday, I said 99% of the money that came to me in 30 years is with them. I don't even know where the remaining one is. Those of us who believe we love our land, we should make sacrifice, not destroy it. We should make sacrifice to the land. We should create presence to the land. And then somebody is destroying the land. I say, sit at home. Drunkard. Extortioner. Thief. Marauders. They have something else in their mind. They are the company of the Ifajuna that save their land. Doesn't leave them. It will leave them in my presence. Some of them are saying all manner of things. The shepherd will not support him. What is he doing? Everywhere, need them. I said, look at you. Look at, if it's what you give me, I will not be a preacher. You want to give me something after I don't have a wife at this age? And what will I be doing with it? Excuse me. God said to Moses, to Aaron and Miriam, he said, Aaron is not like, Moses is not like you. You get distracted, but Moses, behold my similitude. I want to interpret something in one verse there, then I will leave it. I want to show you something about how God compare Moses with Miriam and Aaron, and about similitude and dark speeches. And I'm out. In chapter 12:8 of Numbers.
With him will I speak mouth to mouth.
Verse number 7. My servant Moses is not like you,
who is faithful in all.
Have you ever interpreted the word who is faithful in all my house? That means Aaron and Miriam was not faithful in all God's house. Some of those things you want to call things you do personal. This is, I want to do it for myself. That's what is called not being personal in all. That time you say you're a servant of God, but I want to do this thing for myself. then you're not faithful in all in his house. Now, if you look at verse 8, he said, I will speak to him mouth to mouth. It is only somebody who is incarnate, faithful in all God's house, that God speaks to mouth, not in dark scriptures. And then this is the reason for the offense. This is the reason for the offense. He said, and the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Why? Wherefore then? Wherefore then? God will not protect a life that is not shared with him. So protection is not a function of prayer. It's a function of sharing. You're looking at me and you want God to protect that part of your life you are using to marry your wife. If you're using part of your life to marry your wife should protect that part. If you're using part of your life to marry your husband should protect that part, not God, because you gave it to the man. God will not protect something you gave another person. Did you clap for what I just said? So somebody said, Shebad, carry yourself and give to a woman, and then the woman will start be rubbishing me. Excuse me, you don't know what happened. Allow me to tell you something. You don't know what happened when you call a woman your wife. Sometimes something makes her treat you like her separs. And I already know it, and it will never happen to me. I said it will never. I won't be on earth. Let me show you one more thing about groaning. That is, when people are visionary and not incarnate, they groan. They groan. They groan. Please allow me. Stay with me. Let me bring heaven to you. Because there is no other voice that speaks like this on earth. I said there is. No, there's no other voice. The snake is active. I said the what? The python, it has changed into a beast. And it's already eating the soul of men. I said the python have changed into a very heavy beast. And it's sucking life out of men. You see, because it's of dust. When the python sucks divinity, she replaces it with things that dust can. Excuse me, you don't know we are a pastor. He's saying that we are one of the richest pastors in Nigeria. Can the devil, in case you don't know, 22% of the earth is in the hand of the devil. So the devil can give a man money to any extent. I say he can give a man money to any extent. But there is a power that confronted him at Calvary. That power is stronger than money. We call it total divinity of Jesus. He came as the express image of God, and look at him and then smash him. And when he smashed him, he became rich. A spirit you should smash. You're asking to give you money. How can you win him after you have collected something from him? And why would something that hate divinity take something from Satan? And sometimes they call divinity power. In case you don't know, Satan can heal the sick. It's all about manipulation. Take from another person and put in another person, and take away from that person and put in another person. That's manipulation. So some pastors still function that way. They make arrangement with Satan and be manipulating healing. And because they believe the church is ignorant. So nobody's seeing what they are doing. They will bargain with the devil. I said they are healing ministers. Excuse me, we know that whether they are healing ministers or not when we see the way they end. You are healing others, you didn't heal yourself. I said we know whether they are healing or not when we see the way they end. Because the gospel is not preached. So something that doesn't belong to God is ascribed to God. And then we see the consequences everywhere, glaring before us. So how the church move forward? Huh? And if you don't make certain sacrifices, how can you have some boldness? A man that hates his life and has lost it, why will he be careful? Careful about what? About life that's already finished. If I didn't say some things, how can another person say it? The gospel I am preaching, like the way I am separating marriage, can a married man say it? And it should not be said. If you're here now, you're my wife, and I'm saying this now, and after this, you will start going home. You will make your face like, and then start tormenting me. Excuse me, you will not be able to torment me. Sometimes I see women tormenting their husband. If an earthly house in 2 Corinthians chapter 5:1 is not dissolved, then a house not made with hands will not appear. Chapter 5:1 and 2. I want to read it, then I leave it. 2 Corinthians. Second Corinthians chapter 5:1 and 2, it says, for if we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle, we are what? Now, do people know the difference between the one that we are dissolved, we have a building of God? How can people know the difference between the two buildings? The one that dissolved and the one that belongs to God. A house not made with hands, eternally in heaven. For in this we groan. That's what I mean. Groaning is an act of ignorance. That's why I came to this. It's an out of, excuse me, if somebody doesn't know God the way he knows God, then he's in pain. Because you don't separate pain from darkness. Whatever that limited a man's knowledge will subject that man to pain. So if a man believes in death, because he is sustaining a house that's supposed to be dissolved, then the man is in pain. So the Bible says, in this they do what? They groan. That the word groan there means there is pain. I'm making a book on being remade by pain and hurt. I said, if God will be with any flesh, will be with any flesh, that flesh must be wounded. Because flesh in itself is corrupt. Flesh flesh at its best is made subject to corruption. And then for God to take away corruption, he must wound that flesh. Because there is no holy blood. Now there is no holy blood. Listen, there is no holy blood. The only blood that is holy is the one that came out of a man through pain. If your blood remains inside you, that blood will never be holy. There is no water that is holy. So if a man is being sustained by water and by blood, then that tabernacle is a corrupt tabernacle that must be subjected to pain. So that the blood, we are drinking blood of Jesus because the blood came out through violence and then became pure. That is why when the blood was there, God made an arrangement that Jesus will not come into heaven with that blood. Right now, this night, they are saying every day there is quarrel in heaven that Elijah and Enoch must come to heaven, must come to this place and do what? And die. Because they are in God's presence with blood. Do you know the level of problem it's at? And God has vowed that it will never happen again. And that's I've stopped. That's where I stopped. You see, that's my kind of preaching. So a lot of people are talking about rapture. Did they want to know rapture? They not even want. They were not designed to know. So when somebody separate the earth from heaven, that person is made smaller than God. The idea of being one with God is heaven is united. Heaven is united with the earth. And then man will take the nature of God. I would have asked you what you learned, but I still have job this night. Introducing the age of God. Introducing the age of God. Now, God is forcing this season to end. And I am an ambassador of God. We are a corporate company of immortal people sent to the earth principally to end the hour of man and introduce the age of God. It is only in the age of God that there will be no death. Now, it is introducing the age of God that God will make all things new. The tabernacle of God in 21:3 of the book of Revelation is a house of gods. And it is only when there is a house of gods that there will be no death. And then when there is no death, he that sat upon the throne said, I will make all things new. Did somebody get it? All right, 21:3 of Revelation. And I heard a great voice out of heaven say, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them, and be their God. Number 4. And God shall wipe away all tears from. Now, excuse me. Before God started wiping away tears and start saying there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, neither crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Before God said that, there is a taking on of a new nature by men. Nothing transforms the destiny of a man like the transformation of the man. Prosperity is more in attraction than in work. So why wouldn't all things be new when a man is already a God? Can you give a man a destiny? His nature forbids. Can you make an ego? Can you make an ego to eat a dead meat?